this is Sabina at Cross Keys Crafts with, as you can see from all the mess on my desk, a rather big project today. This is inspired by Sam Calcott's latest release, and she created round, I'd want to call them shadow boxes with a stand, and she released dies that you can use for these, but you can obviously make these stands yourself. And I have decided to go with my Easter theme to use one of my oval nesting dies. So I'm creating like a bit of an egg-shaped shadow box with a stand, and I want to show you what I've already started, and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to create the whole card. My nesting dies, these are big nesting dies, and I believe they are from Craft Stash, so I'm going to link to them below. These are actually a set that come with the scalloped dies as well, so you've got a plain one and the next one is a scalloped shape. And this one is 6.5 inches by 5 inches. But you can obviously use any sort of oval die. You can make this according to the oval dies you do have. You can make this on a smaller scale if you wanted to. So mine, as I said, is this shape, but I'm going to show you how you can adapt this. So what I have cut for myself, with that oval die I showed you, I have cut 2 bases. One is for the back of the shadow box, and well, for the inner basically, and one goes on the back, so I've got the same pattern there. I might actually swap it around and use this one in the back. I also have for the back, just out of white cardstock, this is a 300 GSM. This is from the recent The Works design paper pad that I showed you in my last haul, but also I'm using other papers that I had in my stash. So this one I think is 250 GSM, I can't remember now. So just to make this a bit sturdier, and for the sentiment on the back, I cut the next size down, which is, as I said, is the scalloped edge here. And then to create a surround, I cut an oval that basically sits as a frame on the front. But again, because this is a bit flimsy, I cut another layer, but not out of the 300 GSM. This again is like a 220. So when I glue these together, this will create a sturdy frame for the front. And for the base, I have just cut another oval, again from the same nesting die set, and I've marked on the back the half, and I've just cut it apart to create the base. But after I cut it, and this is why I haven't finished this, I just checked whether this actually is the same size, and I noticed it's not quite the same size. So you just lay yours on top of each other, make sure the edges are aligned here. Doesn't have to be 100%, but as close as you can get. I hope you can see what I'm doing, and it's not that easy to align these actually. So you want to align them on the curve, and then any overlay, sorry, any excess on the edges you can just cut off. So I'm just checking that side again. I suppose it's easier if you've got a round shape, but as I said, I decided to go for the oval. So I've got a bit of excess there, so just to level it out a bit, I'm just cutting that off just with the scissors. So as I said, this is an oval, and just to show as a comparison, I've just basically cut, if this is 5 inches, let me just measure this. This is just 4 inches, but you could use the same oval again if you wanted to. I just wanted to have a smaller base. So, and then again, size down, I cut the scallop one that will just sit as a layer on the top. So for the surround of the egg bit on the top, I have cut strips. These are 2.5 inches wide and they are cut from a 12-inch pad. So I just cut them as they were. I will cut them down, but I didn't want to have to measure that one perfectly, so I just thought I'd leave them longer and then I can cut them to size. I have created a little flap here, so I basically scored here just, I think it was a half, maybe just 3/8, and just scored that and just have cut a bit away here. So basically cut away a square and have a bit of a wedge here, a bit of a wedge there, and the same on the top. And then I have scored these at, again I have to remember now because I did that a few hours ago. So yeah, at 1/2 inch. So 1/2 inch on either side. I've scored these and I also burnished these. It's important to do that before you do anything else. And then, just to strengthen the cardstock, on the inner bit I have just glued down with my double-sided adhesive tape. I just glued down a strip slightly slimmer than the 1.5 that is left here, so I think this is just 1 3/8. I just wanted to stay away from the score line, but if you measure correctly you can just go just under 1.5 inches. So I cut myself 2 of these strips, and this one's actually coming a bit loose, which might come in handy because I think when I glue them together I've got a bit too much of a bulk, so I might actually peel this one off a bit, take the strip off here, and then just have that to strengthen this. And then, as you can see, I will have to cut a little wedge here on this side. So that is just all preparation. So one thing I've already done with this as well is I've taken my bone folder and I've given this a bit of a curve, and it's best to do that now. And this is also the reason why I used the tape on the inside, because I thought if I use like collal glue that might strengthen it too much and then it might be difficult to put the curve in. So you just do that and that will make it easier to put it round the oval shape. And I've also done this with a bit at the bottom. Again, this is a 12-inch strip, same as before, same width as well, 2.5 inches, 2.5 inches here. And again, I've put another strip here and burnished and curved these, but I've only rounded this in the middle. Reason being, this will go round the base, and I only have got the round bit at the top. Once I have glued this down, I will measure this and I will score on the ends here where I have to fold round, and I know already that I have to cut this down, but I want to create a little box because I want to put some fairy lights in the Easter egg. So this is inspired by Gemma from Gemma Lee Crafts. She did that with her latest, which she did that with a fairy display box. So I want to do something like this. So I just wanted to show you all these things before I continue, because my job will now be to cut little teeth in this. When you buy some Calcott's die set, she already creates these for you and they already have got the teeth on there, but I don't have that set, so I have to cut these all myself. So basically what you do is you just cut up to the score line little teeth like this, and I have to do that on all the bits now here. I could make it a bit easier for me by measuring now how long I need this whole strip to be, then I don't have to cut that much, so I know they're going to overlap. I think I will have that seam on the top. You can have it on the side if you wanted to. That's what Sam Calcott did, but I think I will just go for the top because then the bottom one will be hidden. So if I just measure it like this, I hope you can see what I'm doing. I'll still let it overlap a little bit, but I know that I don't need more than what's overlapping here. So I could just cut this down here. Let me find a pencil. I've got so many things on my desk. So if I cut that there, and that about there, oh sorry, hope you can see what I'm doing. So I just marked it there and there, so I've got a bit of overlap, but that is plenty. So if I just cut these down for now, that is, until I know how much I actually do need, then that will save me a bit of hassle with cutting these teeth. So I'll be going to my local craft group in 10 minutes. We've got a lovely craft group in the village hall, and I will take these with me and I will cut all these. I will not, by the way, I will take this for measurement, because I will not cut the teeth on the bottom bits that go here in the plane. So I will prepare these, and I'm going to come back then and show you how to stick these on. I will probably show you with the oval and maybe already prepare this, so something to keep me busy for 2 hours. And yeah, I'll then show you how I'm going to decorate the egg and how I'm going to put it all together. I'll see you soon for that. Okay, I'm back and I have cut all the little teeth out of my pieces, but I also made a little mistake. I said earlier I didn't want to cut any teeth on the bits here on the bottom, but I forgot all about it when I was sitting down, so I stopped sort of halfway through. But it doesn't really matter because that part will be hidden, but I didn't cut any teeth on this end. The other thing I have done then is I have adhered some red tape on either side as close to the score line as I could get it. And on the bits that go on the oval, on the top bit, I have stuck it on the inside, so next to the bit that reinforces this. On the bottom piece, I have stuck it on the outside, and you will see in a moment why. I want to put this together as Gemma showed it, because she put these bits on the outside and then she covered it, whereas Sam Calcott, she put it on the inside, and then you can actually see the little teeth on the frame unless you embellish it heavily. So I'm going to do that. I did mess up a bit though, because I had originally planned, let me show you these pieces, I have already stuck down this oval, and I'd forgotten that I wanted to have this pattern on the outside on the back. So now I've got the flowery background, but it doesn't really matter. But this is when I started contemplating whether I should actually have this as a background on the inside rather than the flowers, because the flowers are quite busy. So I think I go for the plain background, and that at least coincides or matches the frame then. So I shall be doing this. So I haven't practiced this. Oh, the other thing, sorry, I did do is glue these two frames together. It wasn't as easy as I thought it was, and you see it's not very even. I don't know whether the papers shifted when I cut these out. It might be an idea to cut them if you can at the same time. But I'm not too bothered because I will embellish the frame, so I hopefully will hide this, but at least it's a bit sturdier now to fit. So I haven't practiced this. I've just been watching Sam Calcott and Gemma do what they did. So what you do basically is take the release paper off one side, and I'm starting, sorry, that's the wrong one. I want to start with this one that's got the flap at the top. Oh, the other thing I did, as I mentioned before, I have taken a bit of the lining here, so when this goes together, I don't have too much bulk in the middle here. So I'm going to take the release paper of this one, and I don't know if this is the one I did it before, wrong before, so I had to peel it off, but I think it'd still be sturdy enough. So what you need to do, always got statting on these, is you start, as I said, on the top, and I will actually lay it down a bit on the table. I'll just start there, and I will just press this edge into the side there, and I won't push it down yet. I just keep it on the score line, and I just guide my fingers underneath, sort of just pressing them round. And as long as you don't press it down just yet, it won't adhere completely, and that gives you some wriggle room. And also, as expected, I have got a bit overlap there, but I think I will just leave it for now. So now that I've stuck this down and I'm happy with it, I can put it on the table, press it down, and it is a bit sticky where you've got the gaps there, but it doesn't matter. And I will just press it down with my finger. You can also use your bone folder. And the top one actually has just come off a bit again, but I can just release it a little bit and just press it down again. So, and the bottom, press it round. There we go. So that wasn't too difficult. So for the top, I'm going to put some glue on the tab, and I have to put it on the outside, and I'm going to glue this down. Yeah. It's really a job where you have to concentrate. So this is my quick grab glue. So I'm just putting it there on the score line. Don't even know why I scored it, because you don't need to fold it there. So I'll just push it over maybe a bit more. Hope you can see that. Just make sure it's even on either side so you don't end up with a wobbly score line. So I'm just holding that for a moment, and now you can see I don't have extra bulk there. Oh, there it is. Just closing this up again. So now I can take the release paper off here. If it comes off. If you struggle taking the release paper off, just press it down again, because sometimes it doesn't come off because it is not glued down properly. So I'm doing the same again, just resting it on the table, basically keeping this flat here, and then just moving the oval around on the score line. Sorry if I've got my hand in the way. Let me just turn it around this way. Just show you what I'm doing. So mine overlaps quite a bit, but because it will be at the bottom, I will just leave it like this. So again, I'm pressing down. Obviously mine's stuck to the table now, so be aware of that, but it's okay because I've got a mat. You might want to put something underneath that allows it to, like if you've got some release paper or something like that. And now I'm just going to put some glue on the bottom here, so that will all seal up quite nicely. I'm not too worried about it too much because the base will be glued down on this. Okay. So, and now I will just maybe take these off a little bit. No, I should be okay. So, now I can take the second piece, put some glue on the back, and just glue this down, and I will speed that up a little bit. And I'm just using my quick grab glue again. Okay, so again, turn it over and then press it down. You can use your bone folder to press it down, and that will help you to adhere it properly. There we go, with the back like this. So again, this one, it will be the bottom and the top. But like this, just checking if I need to put a bit more glue on. As I said before, if you're not happy having the seam on the top, you can always put them on the side, and if you use a long strip, the longest one first, rather than cutting them both down, you might even end up with the seams down here, so that should be okay. So now we need to stick this down, and I have forgotten to cut a frame for the inside, so I shall quickly do that. So that frame needs to be the same size as the back, and then you've got a little basically a thin frame, because again this will go on the inside, so I quickly need to cut that. Now with these nesting dies, the size down is always a scalloped one, so which leaves me with a scalloped edge here, but I'm not too bothered because this one inside here is scalloped as well, so it might be a bit tricky again to line this up, but I'm not too bothered. So all I need to do now is, as before, I'm taking the release paper off and stick this down. So again, I will speed this up for the video. Okay, if you want to spare yourself the hassle of having to squeeze it underneath, you might just want to put the release paper on the top. You can do that as well. I will now, I think, because these will peep through, I will cut down all these teeth now. I will just cut them off like this. My scissors, I will just actually use these so that they won't peep through. And I'm not too fussed if I'm cutting off some of the scallops, or the inverted scallops in that case, because they will be hidden anyway. So I shall be doing this off camera now. If you've got some non-stick scissors, these might actually be better because the red tape is quite sticky. Basically cut along where the red tape is. So, in spite of cutting the teeth off, I just realised that my frame is too thin. So the inside, the window is too wide and can still see some teeth. So I'm going to cut this again with the same size on the outside, but I'm cutting the next one size down, so I have got a bigger frame to hide this. So I shall quickly do that, and then I come back. Okay, so I have recut my frame with a smaller oval on the inside, and this will cover the teeth nicely. Yeah, so I'm really happy with that. And again, I've backed it up with another piece of cardstock. So before I put this on though, I want to decorate the inside, which means I have to put my fairy lights in, and I could only find the ones that have got this sort of cork, bottle cork, battery pack, but it doesn't matter because it will fit in the bottom. I do have some flat ones, but I can't find them. And I also want to put my bunny on the inside. This is from a little die set. I have shared this in one of my videos before when I turned this into a penguin. I bought this in Germany, so I can't link to anywhere, but it makes either a little rabbit or a little chick. and you've got the option of adding a little muffin or some carrots and flowers. So I went for this one, but also cut another one for another project. So I think what the thing I'm going to do first is I'm going to put the fairy lights in, which means I have to poke a hole at the bottom here to feed it through, and then I'm just going to stick it down on the inside. I will do that just with hot glue as Gemma did it in her video, so I think that'll be the easiest thing to do. I have made projects in the past where I have stuck it down with red tape, but because the inside is exposed, I don't want it to look messy, so I shall do that first. And I don't have any special tools for poking holes, so I'm just going to use my scissors, and I will do it obviously at the bottom, that is where it's double, so it's not so neat, and I'll just more or less do it at the bottom, and I'm going to do it halfway here as well. So using my scissors, sorry, off screen there, just digging through here, try not to have my finger right behind it. And once I've done this, I'm going to use my finer scissors and I'm going to neaten the hole a bit. If you've got a good hole punch that you can use at that point, you can do that, but I'm not too fussed, so you can't see, because this will mostly be hidden by the decorations anyway. So feeding this through now. I'm just having a look. I might be able to go around twice. I think I'm making a mistake here. Nope. Before I feed this through, I need to adhere the bottom, so I need to build that first. So forget about this step. And I have to build the bottom first. So for that, I'm going to use these pieces, and I'm basically doing the same as I did with the top here, and I stick these down, but I'm sticking them down on the outside. So starting on the end here, where I've basically got a fold, and I'm going to, because I was in the village hall, I couldn't do that before, I'm going to put a score line here because this will go round the edge there, and then I'm going to release this here, and as before I'm going to stick this down on here, and yeah, I'm going to do that on the other side, and then I come back. I don't need to show you this because I showed you on here how to do that. Well, I totally messed the bottom bit up, the bottom piece, so I have to do this again, and I'm going to show you what you have to do so you avoid my mistakes. So this is definitely going in the bin. So I have recut this. I haven't cut the teeth out yet because I think before we do that, and I told you ideally you don't have teeth on these flaps, so the important thing is that you measure. So again, this is my 12 inch piece, 2.5 inches wide, and scored at a half on either side, and then reinforced with the strip that is a 1 and about 3/8, sorry, yeah, slightly smaller than 1.5 inches, so I'm keeping well away from the score lines here. So what I have done, again, I've used my bone folder and molded it a bit in the middle, and then on my scoreboard I scored at 3 here, and this is where I will sit down this piece, and I have already cut a triangle out of this because this allows me now to measure this, because if you don't measure your oval or your half oval there, then it'll be tricky. So I'm just laying this, keeping my finger there, and I'm just laying this round here, and obviously it's not as easy because you haven't got the teeth yet, but it allows me to find out where I need the other score line. So I'm just folding it round there, Hope you can see what I'm doing. I'll let go of that bit now, and if I just mold it, sorry, sort of keep it over there, I know this is where my next score line is going. I can actually see it on the pattern, so I'm going to mark this. Hope you can see this, and this now tells me where I have to have my next score line. I'm going to align this. I'm just taking this out, sorry, because that's in the way. I'm going to align this with my score line here. You don't need to mark that on your board, you can just find one. So this is where I want to go, so you could just go down there, and let me move mine over just a wee bit. Make sure obviously you keep it straight, you don't want it to be wonky. So I need to know I need to go on this one here, right through there. And again, on these, on the score line there, I need to take a generous triangle out, not a small one, but a generous one on either side. And now I can cut the teeth just on this bit here, and the rest can stay flat as it is. I'm going to show you in a moment how to measure what to cut off on either end. So as before, we'll take my release paper off. This time it's on the outside, and I will line this up with this corner here. You can call it a corner, with this edge here. Put it down, and then as before, just pinch it and go round. Don't worry if it wants to come undone at the bottom, we can always put it down later. It is quite easy. So once you've got it properly in place, just press it down on the inside. Actually has come undone here because I hadn't glued it down properly. So, and it is sticky on the inside. I'm not fussed about this because that will be hidden. It will only have the battery pack in it. So I can now do the same on the other side. I'm not fussed about yet what I'm doing with the bottom, but I will cut this lining down a little bit. So same thing, take it off. I will speed this up now for the video. Okay, so now obviously because we have a 12-inch strip and we don't need the full length, this one actually overlaps quite a bit, so it's up to you where you want to cut it down. I want to create some sort of flap so the battery pack is accessible, but I don't want it to open too much. So I think I will just glue this bit down here, and then I want to create like a little flap so I can tuck this under. I think that's what I just do. So I will just put some, I will actually now, because we don't need a lot of strength on it, I will just now use my quick grab glue. So just fold these sides in. Make sure I don't get any messy. You have to open this up a little bit just to tug it in. So keep it in place and then press it down, putting your finger on the inside as much as you can. You've got a bit of wiggle room, but not much with a quick grab glue. But that's fine. So now, think about how I get this round the corner here. So as you can see, it overlaps quite a bit, so I'm just going to mark here, again with a pencil, where this would end, or where this would go into, and cutting above that. I'm not cutting it down to exactly that bit. and then I'm going to create the flap from there. So I'm keeping this straight, so where I've marked with a pencil before, I'm just cutting straight. Nope, one thing I forgot, we need then, do I need it? Let me just think whether I need a score line when I need to fold it. I'll try it without first, because we might be able to tuck it just under. So I'm just cutting it on that pencil line and on that score line. I'm doing the same on the other side, just eyeballing it. So we can actually fold it under. I'm catching a bit on the corner here, so I think I have to cut off that corner a bit. You see what I mean? So I shall just trim that a little bit. Yeah, that's better. So I was thinking earlier whether I should put a hook and loop on it, but the problem then is it might just be wobbly on that. So I think what I need to do is, yeah, put a little score line there so I can just fold it under. I might just fold it as it is without doing a score line. Yeah, and I need to cut a little wedge. Not too much. I learned that from my Paddington Bear book box, which did not close properly. Yeah, that will work. And then if you want to open it, you have to put your finger underneath. You can always make a little latch or something that you pull open, but I think that'll be fine. Okie dokes, now we need to put in a hole for the fairy lights. So I'm just eyeballing this, which actually is quite nice, and the pattern I think right in the middle. So what I'm doing is actually I'm going to put my finger in underneath, not right underneath obviously, because I don't want to poke in my finger, but I'm putting it next to the hole, so I put a bit of pressure from the other side, just to avoid pressing this all down and ruining my work. Okay, so now I need to put my fairy lights through. I'm actually putting my hot glue gun on now. So in order to take this out and change the batteries when I need to, I will actually lose one of the lights. I think I will just leave one of the lights on the bottom, because the cable, if I just put it all the way through, I won't be able to pull this out, so I just leave it like this. And I'm feeding it through the hole here. I will now actually decide which side I want to have on the front, which one's slightly neater. Yeah, choosing this one for the front, so you can still do that with this one. So I'm now going to put some hot glue, once my glue gun is hot, on either side here, and I'm just pressing it down, making sure it's sort of straight, and I'm going to do that off camera, and then I'm going to show you how to glue the fairy lights on. So I have glued my base on with a hot glue, and now I'm just putting one bit here on the hole, so I know this will actually stay in place. I'm not worried about how messy this potentially looks, because I'm going to cover this with a frame and the decorations. So I just want this to stay in place and not come through again. So, and then I can put these down, just laying them out first. This actually goes round 1.5 rounds, so just gluing these a bit on the side so they don't pop to the middle. And obviously you don't glue where the lights are, you just glue in between. So I'm just keeping my finger there, putting a bit of hot glue next to it, and as it dries clear, again, it won't look too messy. Take the threads off, and that already keeps it in, well, actually keeps it in place. I'll have to leave it to cool a bit. And again, apologies for not being able to show this, it's just a funny angle, so basically put it there. So I'm going to speed this up just to give you an idea, even if you can't see it precisely, and then I'm going to show you the finished result afterwards. Okay, why I stopped here now is where I'm doubling up the lights that go round again. They actually end up in the same place where I've already got some lights, so I'm just wriggling these round, making sure they're not in the same place. Okay, so I have glued them down. I've got quite a few glue blobs there now, but they will be hidden. Obviously, they already will be hidden by the frame that's coming on in the moment, but they will also be hidden by the flower decorations on the outside. So I'm just making sure now I've got no glue threads there from the hot glue, and no other bits in there like from the teeth I cut off earlier. So what I did not mention before, I think, is always make sure your fairy lights actually work, but mine work fine. So I can pop this in there for the time being. Close this up for now. There we go. And now I can start decorating the frame. Just get this out of the way, I just had that for the hot glue. So I can note, before I put the frame down, Sam Calcott likes to put this down first, she says, because then she can see what she's going to decorate on the inside. I find that a bit, what's the word I'm looking for, a bit difficult anyway, to just put and do anything on the inside. So I want to glue down my rabbit first. I don't want to be caught with this in the frame. For this rabbit, Sam Calcott's dies, they have got, she makes little tabs where she sits them down on the frame. I just decided to put mine on the back, and for that I created this spring. It's very simple. It's just a piece of cardstock, a long strip that is scored at, let me just check, I think it's ½ inch, yeah, ½ inch. You can decide how many score lines you want, and this will just go on the back, and this allows the rabbit to sit not flat against the back, but he will have a bit of distance in the back, and that gives some dimension to it. So I'm just putting some glue on this, stick it on the bunny, just leaving that to dry. Doesn't take long, obviously, with the quick wrap glue. So I now need to decide where I want to position him. I don't want him too low, because obviously I don't want him to be hidden too much by the frame, but to be honest, I don't have a lot of choice because he almost fills the back, so I shall just glue him right in the middle. Again, I've shown this before, I like to line my projects up on the grid so I've got an idea that something is straight. So get the ears in. There we go. Just pressing him down a little bit, And there we go. See? So he's got some dimension. It doesn't sit right on the background, which will be really nice. So I now have to decide whether any of my sorry, I forgot to switch the hot glue off. Any of my decorations, if I want any in the back, or whether I just want them in the front. I think I'll just have them on the frame, so I'm not too bothered about that, so I can actually now stick my frame on. So I will just put some glue on the frame here. Again, I'm just speeding up the video for that. Okay, and now all that's left to do is to decorate. So I have just cut little eggs just from the smallest ovals I have, and I cut them from different cardstock. So I'll just have a look how I decorate these. Don't want to hide the bunny too much. And I've also got some flowers again from different cardstock. This one's from the same pattern paper pack that is this one from, and this is from an old one that goes with this. And I thought these would actually be quite nice on the top there, the flowers. So I'm just playing around now to see what I want. Sorry, I'm just moving this up a bit so you can actually see it a bit better. Now I think I just have the 3 down here. I think otherwise it's just too much. I might just actually lay this one down just like this, because I don't want to hide the feet too much. Could have maybe moved him up just a wee bit. So, and then I have got obviously this bit that I could put on there. I have got a sentiment that I cut with my latest gadget, which is the We Are Memory Keepers word punch. It's just a wee bit too wide. I didn't measure that before, so I might just actually have that there. I think that would be nice, so I could move the eggs up a little bit and maybe have some more eggs down here. Yeah, I think I will do that. I'm a sort of, I like it like slightly symmetrical, so I do this. But I think because I've got because I've got the extra frame here, I've got a bit of a difference in height here and depth. So I will probably put these on foam, give it a bit of dimension, but have these flat. Yeah, I'm happy with this. So I'm just going to glue these down now off camera, and then I'll show you the finished result. Okay, so my card's finished. I'm really pleased with it, especially because by the time I've finished, will have edited out all the mistakes. I just had a few mishaps. I had a bit of hot glue on either side. I actually peeled off the paper a little bit. It's obviously not too visible from the front, but I have to paint over this a little bit, so don't do what I do. I noticed it was lying in the way. I do actually have a holder here for my hot glue gun, and I should have put it in there, but I forgot when I was crafting. So yeah, I'm really pleased with this. I'm going to take a nice photo of it in the morning when the light's much better, and I will stand it up again as well, because then it's better to, the dimensions are easier to see. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with this. It is midnight now, and I think I should call it a night, but yeah, very nice. And thank you to Sam and Gemma again for inspiring me to create this. I think this is really cute, and again, I've got somebody in mind who will be really, really happy to receive this for Easter. And yeah, I'll probably be making a few more of these, because once I have figured it out, it's not too difficult to make. The tricky bit was actually the bottom, and if you cut a round shape rather than the oval, I think it will even be easier. But I think the oval shape is really nice for Easter. So yeah, if you like this project, you might want to give me a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more of what I'm creating, you might want to subscribe to my channel. I'd be very happy about that, and I'll see you soon.